See, Mask David was getting a little crazy. When David's got that mask, he's a little intense. So it's good to see you unmasked, my friend. What's up, YouTube? Good morning, YouTube. Welcome to Get Your News On with Ron. You guys know the drill here. Once we get 30 people over on the live me, the show has officially begun, and we will start playing the theme song. Get your news on, Ron. Should be get your booze on, Ron. You know, maybe get more. You ever, man. So some of you guys know I used to live in Nashville, Tennessee, which was a lovely city, lovely place to live. But you know, being a comedian, working out of there, sometimes I would have to, I'd have to open up for like some very southern fried acts, you know. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just there were times where I'd go up and I'd do okay. I'd get the job done, whatever. And then like the other person would go up and they'd be like, "Yeah, you know, mate, when trying dog being," and I'm like, what are they saying? I have no idea. And people are loving this. They're laughing their asses off. And I don't know. I'm like, are you guys pranking me? What's going on? I have no idea what that person's saying. None. I still don't. They'd be like, "You want to write some jokes together?" Like, I don't know, dude. You speak a different language than I do. I don't know what you're saying, ever. Howdy, howdy, Colin. What's up, Marcus? Now, that being said, I've performed in the South a lot and have had an amazing time there. And, you know, of course, a lot of those stereotypes and stigmas are not accurate. But yeah, I mean, every now and again, they just be like, and you're like, what? I don't know what's going on. I'm scared. Colin, thank you for bringing that up. Colin asked, did I reach my t-shirt goal yet? I am so painfully close, Colin. I'm pretty much there. Technically, I'm about 10% away. But you know, we're pretty much there. So I'm going to push it a little more. I'm going to start getting all the ducks in a row, and t-shirts are happening. So thank you very much. Thank you for bringing that up. And Colin brought up my Patreon, patreon.com/Ron Placone, if you are so able, because this is a very new show. And, you know, how's the YouTube going? The YouTube's good. They're over there. YouTube people, say hi to the live me people. Say hello. Say hello, live me people. Live me people, say hello. Actually, you know what? This is the first time that we're neck and neck. Right now we got 34. So the show has officially begun, by the way. I got to play the song. 34 over on the live me. And we got 38 over on the YouTube. So this is the first time that live me is beating YouTube. I don't know, or excuse me, other way around. YouTube is beating live me. Telehor Fry says, hey, love you up in Canada, eh? LOL. Tara says, I live in Nashville. Awesome, Tara. I love Nashville. I used to live there. I lived there for a couple years. Zanies is probably my favorite comedy club in the country, next to the Comedy Club on State in Madison. So good to see you. An anonymous commenter says, howdy, howdy. I say howdy, howdy back. Marcus says hello. Colin says that live me isn't giving him notifications. That sucks. YouTube does something similar. But just so everybody knows, before I play the theme song and we officially kick in here, I am on every Tuesday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So underline that. Make a note of it. Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So I'm always on at the same time. You know when and where to catch me. Go through it together and let's get around. Get your news on, Ron. Wanna know what's going on? Get our news on today. Welcome to Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. What does that mean if you're new here? That means you guys tweet me articles at Ron Placone, and that's how we do this show. I don't come on this stream with a bunch of news articles prepared, like, here's what I'd like to talk about. I come on and I say, hey, what are we going to talk about? You guys are my executive producer. I have one giant executive producer called the internet and people on it. And that's why it's called Get Your News On with Ron. It's not called, hey, Ron says the news, or hey, Ron's lonely. It's called Get Your News On with Ron. Hey, Ron's lonely is an exclusive podcast that I literally don't release. I'm really dedicated to the theme. So I do one podcast a week that nobody hears except for me, because it happens literally in my sleep. You know what? That podcast is coming if it hasn't been released yet. There's going to be a podcast where somebody just releases them snoring. And they're going to be like, yeah, this is what I do. If you're into like snoring research, here's my podcast about it. My girlfriend got an app that monitors your sleep patterns. And when you wake up in the morning, there is an MP3 of you snoring. She played it for me once, and I said, this is creepy as shit. And she's like, what? It helps you monitor, and it knows when you're in deeper sleep. And I'm like, no, this is some weird Orwellian shit right now. This is us sleeping. You have audio of us sleeping. I don't know if she uses the app anymore. I did find it genuinely creepy. And I told her, I was like, I don't think we should do this. And but she's really into sleep. I think I've talked about that before. Like she likes to monitor it and make sure she's getting enough of it. Whereas I'm just like, sleep is what dead people do all the time. You know, I'm just kind of like, and that's a typical Sagittarius. That's a typical Sagittarius. Andrew's on my side. He's like, oh yeah, that's not creepy at all. Yeah, it's creepy, huh? You should have heard it. I was like, wow, this is just us snoring. I see a podcast in this. How about a Ron Knows Everything show? Kate asked. That'd be a very short show, Kate, because I do not know. I know a little bit about a little. That's where I'm at. I know a little bit about a little. I commented on YouTube. Your phone's about to die. Sorry to hear that. You can comment wherever you want. If you comment on Live Me, I see it right away. If you comment on the YouTube, Pasta, who's keeping it on the ones and twos, is monitoring the YouTube chat. You always have the answers for the questions Jimmy asks. Kate, sometimes that's true, but you don't know what goes on off camera. Sometimes the cameras are off and Jimmy just looks at me and he's like, dude, what is life? And I'm like, I don't know, bro. You know, I guess it's no secret we all smoke pot. I'm just kidding. That doesn't... He's never asked me what it's life, actually. Full disclaimer. Full disclaimer. Jimmy Dore has never asked me what is life. He might. We don't know. All right. You guys have already been sending articles, and I'm just sort of dicking around here. Can we reconfigure Medicare for All as an independent military contractor program? You mean so it'll actually pass? Good idea, Sake. We always have bomb money in the United States. We never have money for anything else. But we always got bomb money. This executive producer is a little too medicated. I'll observe and take notes. RV says that. Hey, you do you. It takes everyone to make this wheel spin, you know? All right, Paul sent this, and I think we're at the beginning here. Yeah, we'll go ahead. This is the beginning. Paul sends this. This is a YouTube video. So I'm just going to read the description. A Muncie, Indiana family is devastated after finding out that their 3-year-old daughter has died from flu-like symptoms. So she was sent home. She was sent home from the hospital, and then she died from flu-like symptoms. And I think someone else sent a similar story of somebody that also died from the flu. because that unfortunately has been going on a lot lately, which is, yeah, here we go. All right, so this connects to this. Joe sent this. Let me give this a retweet. So going on that, what we just talked about over in Muncie that Paul sent in, and Joe sends this in, a teacher and mom of two died of the flu after deciding her medicine cost too much money. Heather Holland was a beloved second-grade teacher. Her death last week from complications from the flu has rocked the tight-knit community of Weatherford, Texas. The 38-year-old was prescribed medication to fight the virus, but when the copay rang up to $116, she decided it wasn't worth it. According to a report from the Weatherford Democrat, Holland is survived by her husband, Frank, and a 10-year-old daughter and 7-year-old son. I have to be strong for the kids, but it's surreal. It hasn't all set in. So, you know, that's the thing here. A lot of these flu deaths, I mean, some of them are just sadly unavoidable because the flu is very dangerous. And sometimes, especially if babies get it or something like that, it can be deadly no matter what you do. But a lot of these are a reflection of our broken healthcare system. And I wonder if deaths like this fall under the deaths because of our insurance system. You know, I mean, they come out with these estimates that 45,000 people die a year due to lack of adequate health care. And I wonder if that even counts something like this. I wonder if that even counts someone where it's like, yeah, they went to the doctor, they had access to a prescription, but because of our system, it was too much for them to afford, so they died. Because I have a feeling it's even higher than the numbers we're given. I have a feeling that our healthcare system kills even more people than we realize. So that's really sad. That's really, really sad. The Convo House says, here's $2. Here's some love to help buy steaks for Valentine's Day. Thank you, The Convo Couch. Make sure you guys check that show out. So, all right, we started the week off on something very sad. Let's see if we, let's see what we progress up to. And I think we got some stuff over on the Reddit too. Yeah, we definitely got some stuff over on the Reddit. By the way, quick announcement here. I actually have some other announcements. I'll do those closer to the end. But real quick, David Hildebrand, our guest from last week, I don't know if you guys saw this, but on Twitter, he started a poll. Should he do glasses or no glasses 100% of the time? You guys know that we had that clip where I was like, look, dude, you, like me, are a nerdy-looking white dude. You need to commit to a look. Do you guys ever see me without glasses? No, because right now, that is my look. I need for it to be consistent. So, you know, I told him that. I'm like, dude, you gotta commit to a look. You just have to. I don't know if he actually agreed with me or how he feels, but he started a poll. I voted in it. I encourage all you to vote in it. I don't need to say how I voted, you know, but I honestly thought about it. I was like, should this dude sport the glasses? Should he not sport the glasses? And I tossed him a vote. The options are glasses, no glasses, Jill Stein, or MMT. So he proved to everybody he's got a good sense of humor. Good for David. David's got a good sense of humor. When I confronted him on some things, we laughed about it. When I poked fun at him for not picking glasses or no glasses, he laughed about it. Drew Carey, forever voting third party, points out Drew Carey got his eyes fixed, still wears glasses. See? And if Drew Carey's doing it, Drew Carey's a more successful comedian than me. So, hey, there you go. My co-host wants to come into the room. I suppose I'll let her in the room. Hopefully, our contract disputes have worked out and she's not whiny. But please welcome the co-host of the show, Lucy. Come on in, Luce. Yeah, finish your breakfast. Lucy's here, everybody. Jesse says hi, Lucy. And Lucy has a new dialogue coming out over on the Patreon. I'll talk more about that later. But, You guys are sending a lot of shit. This is from Edwin, which, by the way, Edwin, yo, Lucy Cat. By the way, Edwin, I don't know if you're watching right now, but if you are, this week's 5 Chords in the Truth features your music recommendation if you didn't see it already. But this week's 5 Chords in the Truth, some of you guys know 5 Chords in the Truth is my music podcast. We have a segment called Listen to the Damn Song where listeners send us in music and we talk about the music. And it's a really fun segment. Edwin sent in some music and we listened to it this week. So Edwin, check out this week's episode. It features your music. All right, so this is our Edwin's article. Let me go ahead and give it a Get Your News On with Ron retweet. Yeah, there it is. Boston Dynamics' latest scary robot opens doors for its friends. All right. When the robots decide to become your overlords, what defensive measures are you hoping to deploy? If your answer is doors, then unfortunately you're fresh out of luck. Boston Dynamics, the nightmare factory that was for a time one of Alphabet's more ill-advised properties, has once again released footage of a new robot that can do things robots aren't supposed to be able to do. This time it's a video of a robot called Spot Mini using a claw-like arm where the head should be to open and hold open a door for the benefit of another robot that would like to pass through it. This is kind of a creepy looking robot too. It has like a big hand for a head. What's not clear is how much the robot's actions are being externally controlled or whether some sort of automated cooperation between the robots is at play here. All right. So there's a robot that's opening doors that may or may not be cooperating with other robots. And if it's the latter, well, guess what? We can't close the doors. We can't close the doors because the robots will get through the doors and then they will, I mean, what are they going to do? You know, I mean, well, what are the robots going to do next? I guess the robots is, they're going to take over. Derek's Robert says, beware the coming WD-40 shortage as the robots take over. They should have sent the Jimmy Door to stop the robots. Clever. I see what you did there. I, for one, support the takeover of our robo-doggo overlords. You know, there's a really good episode of Rick and Morty where the dog robots take over, and honestly, it turned out okay. Okay, this is from The Natural Progressive. Utah legislator is working on this bill right now, and this page did not open on me. This page, oh, here we go. Okay. Nonprofit seeking ranches for branding history exhibit. Okay. I don't see an article here. Yeah, there's no article here. Yeah, there's just a headline. All right, I guess I have to click it. Here we go. All right, let's see if this is the actual article. It is. Huh. All right, so this is from the Salt Lake City Trib. A nonprofit is seeking ranchers for branding history exhibit. A nonprofit is seeking ranchers to share their stories for a new branding history exhibit. The Herald Journal reports the stories are for branding a tradition, cattle ranchers of the Bear River region, an exhibit debuting at the 2018 Block Film and Arts Festival in September. The Bear River Heritage Area is searching for ranchers throughout the 7 Utah and Idaho counties in the Heritage Area. This is like the 4th time they've said that in this fucking article. This is like, do we have a sentence where we say we're looking for ranchers? Yeah, we got 2 of them. Throw one more in there. All right, are you sure? Yeah. Okay. I don't know if you guys got this, but they're looking for ranchers. Are we clear? They're looking for ranchers. Does anybody, apparently my cat Lucy wants to be one of them. She's meowing. She's like, I'd like to volunteer. You don't like the outdoors, Lucy. I don't think you'd be into this at all. I think you'd get bored within like a minute. And she's looking at me. She's like, I want you to open the door. Why are you fucking around? Lucy, you're in it. You're in it to win it now. I'm sorry. So they're looking for ranchers. Heritage Area Assistant Courtney Coley says the project delves into an element of agriculture the organization has yet to work on. Quote, we're looking for ranchers. No, I'm just kidding. That's not. While the exhibit is being primarily prepared for the Block Festival, Coley says they hope to use it in local libraries as well. Cool. I don't know much about the exhibit. I don't know what it's committed to exactly, other than ranchers. Apparently, there have been ranchers throughout history, and they need some of them for this exhibit. So what do I think of this exhibit? I think they need ranchers. That's what I got so far. All right. This is from Pasta. Journalist warns about ex-intelligence officials in media. Yeah, no shit. Former intelligence officers are joining mainstream news network as analysts with increasing frequency, a pattern that threatens the independence of the American press. Correction, there is no freaking independence of the American press. That is not a thing. There are independent outlets that are considered part of the American press, but the American press as a whole, the true power structure, is anything but independent. Did the robots get the ranchers? Marine asked. Nice callback. I wish I had thought of that. Marine beat me to it. Lucy, where are you on the ones and twos? So this is a quote from Caitlin Johnstone. More and more of the outlets from which Americans get their information are being filled not just with garden variety establishment loyalists, but with longstanding members of the U.S. intelligence community. These men got to their positions of power within these deeply sociopathic institutions based on their willingness to facilitate and depravity in order to advance the secret agenda of the U.S. power establishment, and now they're being paraded in front of mainstream Americans on cable news on a daily basis. The words of these quote-unquote experts are consistently taken and reported on by smaller news outlets in print and online media in a way that sends their authoritative assertions throughout the public consciousness. A recent example is John Brennan. We did a video about that on the Jimmy Dore Show. This guy was the CIA director from 2013 to 2017. He's joined NBC News and MSNBC this month as a senior national security and intelligence analyst. So instead of having journalists committed to this line of work that try to hold these people like this guy accountable, people like John Brennan accountable, they just hire John Brennan. They're like, we just print whatever the establishment wants us to print anyway. So why not skip out the middleman? It used to be FBI sends us a press release, we copy, we paste, we print, we go home. Now we have the FBI guy, or excuse me, CIA guy. Misspeak there, correction, CIA guy. It used to be the CIA sends a press release, CIA, FBI, either one, okay? But in this case, CIA. We used to have a CIA guy who would just send us the press release, we'd copy, we'd paste, we'd go home. Now let's just hire that dude. Why not hire the dude to write it himself? This is, yeah. Kate asks, Verret died. Where do we get verified news now? By the way, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but on the Verret Twitter handle, they used to say news for the 65 million, which was pretentious and arrogant beyond comprehension to begin with. But they finally took that out. Even they had a moment of humility and realized what a bogus assertion that was. That their media for 65 million people. As if everybody that voted for Hillary wants to hear their establishment centrist propaganda. As if there weren't tons of people that were not voting for anything. They were just voting against Donald Trump. As if that's not the majority of people that voted for Hillary. Do you know anyone in the primary that honestly said Hillary was a better candidate than Bernie? I don't. I cannot think of one person. And I'm thinking colleagues, I'm thinking family, I'm thinking friends that voted for Hillary. They didn't do so because they thought she was a better candidate than Bernie. They did so because they thought Bernie couldn't beat Trump. And then they voted for her again because her opponent was Donald Trump. So, I mean, how arrogant that you think all 65 million people that voted against Donald Trump were actually excited about Hillary. I would argue most of them weren't. So, anyway, my reason for Verret actually took that off of their Twitter. They're no longer, and they're dying. Apparently, they're no longer around. But have the robots verified through Verret the Ranchers? Sake asks. Nice. Yes, it continues. Lucy is very upset by this topic. She still has a dream of being a rancher, and I got to explain to her it's just not going to happen. So yeah, this is NBC and MSNBC, your quote-unquote progressive outlet. They hire literal intelligence officials to just cut out the middleman. You're just hearing what the establishment wants you to hear anyway. Now, there's no middleman. Just go straight to the source. And I'm sure that if Verret was still around, John Brennan would have no problem being Verret certified. Because they love the intelligence agencies now, right? Why? Because the intelligence agencies don't like Trump. It doesn't matter that they don't like Trump for all the wrong reasons, but they don't like Trump, and that's enough for your Mick resistance. Cool. Lucy was blocked by Peter Dow for saying that she liked Bernie. Same reason I was blocked by Peter Dow. Actually, I was blocked by Peter Dow. I think I was blocked by Peter Dow because I called him a comedian. He really hates it when you do that. Because like Peter Douche, who's brilliant, by the way, Peter Douche would, he's the satire parody account of Peter Dow. Like Peter Dow would acknowledge that guy and call him a comedian. So I would I'd be like, man, we need Peter Douche to counter the comedian Peter Dow. And I do believe that Peter Dow is like this generation's Andy Kaufman. Because I mean, it used to be comedy is about punching up. This guy was like, I'm going to have a character that only punches down and only does it for the Democratic establishment. And I'm going to run on a bunch of presidential campaigns and lose all of them, but still have the hubris like you wouldn't believe. It's quite a character. It is brilliant. It is the Kaufman of our generation. It is comedic genius that I could not even, I can't even comprehend. This is from Jesse. We're moving on to Jesse's article. This is from Telesur. So I'm going to get kicked off Facebook for talking about this. NBC apologizes after praising Japan's annexation of Korea. Okay. NBC analyst Joshua Cooper Remo said the attendance of Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe was momentous to the people of Korea. NBC was forced to issue an apology after facing major backlash following a guest making remarks that were received as historically and culturally insensitive by viewers. NBC analyst Joshua Cooper Ramo, during the opening ceremony of the Pyeongchang Olympics, and I know I butchered that pronunciation, said the attendance of Japanese Prime Minister, and an ad just popped up, and that is really fucking annoying. This is from Telesur. Come on, Telesur, help me out. No ads. Opening ceremony said the attendance of Shinzo Abe was momentous to the people of Korea. Every Korean will tell you that Japan is a cultural and technical and economic example that has been important to their own transformation. USA Today quoted Ramo saying, Ramo, who was hired to bring historical context to the coverage, was pulled from coverage, and NBC issued an apology. We apologized quickly, both in writing and on television, for a remark made by one of our presenters, NBC said in a statement. We're very gratified that the committee has accepted that apology. We look forward to the next 2 weeks of competition by the athletes and to showcasing the beauty of Korea, its culture, and state-of-the-art technology. According to Adweek, the comment inadvertently praised Japan's brutal annexation of the Korean Peninsula in the lead-up to World War II. It was a comment that many Koreans found offensive, considering the 35-year occupation remains a painful memory. That's fair. That's totally fair. Shinzo, not Shinzu. All right, cool. Shinzo. Gotcha. Let's see. Wang Minho of the Korea Times added that the comment angered tens of thousands of Koreans and non-Koreans. This is Ramo they're talking about, his incorrect and insensitive comment about Korea's history has enraged many of its people. An MSN report further explained that Ramo saying that every Korean respected Japan for their recent achievements as a nation, insinuating that South Korea had forgotten about the 35 brutal years of Japanese rule that ended after World War II. Yeah, didn't think that one through. Didn't think that one through, Ramos. Americans are great with history, aren't we? Jesse asked. Fair critique. Yeah, this is when you're an isolated country like we are, sometimes stuff like that happens, and sometimes it causes you other perceptions that are very off and skewed. Like you may think that having a healthcare system that most of the industrialized world takes for granted is a pipe dream. You might think that. If you suffer from American isolationism and American exceptionalism, you may think that educational opportunities and free college that a lot of other parts of the world kind of just take for granted and have it built into their system because they know the benefit it gives a community. You might think that's a pipe dream in a country as rich as the United States. You might think that's a pipe dream. Matt Al Sake says, hold on, let's get Sake's comment here. Thank you for the sunny face and the magic wand, Bella Ryan. Thank you very much. I appreciate it kindly. Matt will find some way to say that Russia hacked Ramos's teleprompter. It was a Russian talking point. A Russian bot made him say that. If they talk about this at all. Bruce Wayne says, love you, Ron. Keep fighting. Call your mother. Thank you very much, Bruce. And Mr. Wayne, I will call my mother. I know that your mother is no longer with us. She died in a robbery, tragically. I'm not trying to make light of that at all. I know it was rough for you. But because of that, you became the crime-fighting vigilante we know as the Batman. So thank you, Bruce. I appreciate that. I will call my mother. Or Germany's 28-hour work week. How's their healthcare? It's some of the best in the world. Yeah, Germany has some of the best healthcare in the world. And their unions stick up for themselves when they need to, and it's pretty awesome. All right, this is from Andrew Lacks Protein. Get yourself some protein, Andrew. You've been lacking the protein for a long, long time. And Kate over on the live me says, poor Bruce, over to Bruce over on the YouTube. D. Dean says that healthcare in Canada is awful. How do you know that? Are you Canadian? Because I've actually heard that that's not the case. And healthcare in the United States is awful. But are you Canadian? Do you have some bad stories? I'm sure some Canadians do. I'm not saying healthcare in Canada is perfect. It's not. Healthcare nowhere is perfect. But a lot of systems are a hell of a lot better than what we have here. And when I say a lot, I mean all of them in every industrialized nation. We have the worst in the United States. And if you are Canadian and you have some firsthand experience, I'd be curious to hear. I'm listening. Yes, you are Canadian. What have your experiences been like? I'd be curious to hear. Share some. And I bet you there are some stories here that can top it. Let's see. So long as, hold on. Nobody does profit better or bigger than America, so long as Republicans have been around, basically. In America, people are dying from the flu like it's 1800. Yep. Canada pays at least half what we do, so there's that. Probably less than half. Hugh blamed Canada from South Park. David will break down how Canada's healthcare is better than America. It is. All right. Trump's budget cuts. I'm Canadian. It's not perfect, but it's a lot better than privatized. The K-Line report says, yeah, exactly. I know it's not perfect. Absolutely. But it's a lot better than privatized. I'm an American student in Canada. Canadian healthcare is better. Sam B says that. All right. So far, Canada's winning. And you know what? I don't know. I want to do a story on this at some point. I think I did a video on it. I had a situation not too long ago where I had like my ears were not draining and I had like an infection and I had to go through so many hoops to just get a Z-Pack. So many freaking hoops to just get a Z-Pack. And I ended up just like paying because like my health insurance is not the greatest. So there were like issues with getting my prescription. So I ended up just saying, fuck it, I'll just pay cash. And I'm just saying, I'll pay cash. I don't care. And I compared it to a situation when I was in Italy and I needed some cream for a sunburn. And people started posting on my wall about healthcare stories in other countries compared to the US. And like, it was mostly American people. And they would be like, yeah, I was in Ireland. I got hurt. I was so scared. and it cost me like $10 or something like that. And anyway, no one dies waiting for an operation, Dean. You're missing a bit. All right, cool. So on to this article. Trump budget cuts renewable energy office ups nuclear weapons spending. Because we got our priorities straight, right? We got our priorities good. Let's see. Live Me is beating the YouTube significantly now. You guys were neck and neck for a little bit. I thought the tide might be shifting. But Live Me, you're still in the lead. And we're going to talk more about that as we get to the end. Guys, if you have not tweeted an article yet, please refrain from doing so. We are almost out of time, and we have a lot to get through. Trump's infrastructure plan is to privatize our roads and bridges. Yes, it is. That's true. And here's what this Reuters article has to say about the cuts in regards to energy. U.S. President Donald Trump's proposed budget cuts spending by more than 65% for a research office on renewable energy and efficiency. Reductions, a Department of Energy official said, reflected the success the Bureau has had with electric vehicle batteries and wind and solar technologies. So because they're doing good, because they've had success, you're cutting their money. The budget called for the office to be cut by $1.3 billion compared to the level enacted in 2017 to $696 million for the fiscal year 2019. The biggest reasons for that is the accomplishment that these individual programs have made, DOE Undersecretary Mark Menez has told reporters. The budget is primarily a political document and is not likely to be embraced by Congress, but it represents a strong starting point for the administration on negotiations. Menezes, I don't know how to say it, fuck it, said the DOE is attempting to refocus its mission on renewable energy and efficiency to aid technologies that have a low probability of success, but are highly risky to invest in. So renewable energy is risky to invest in? Like how... But here's what it does call for. It calls for a more than 19% boost to fossil energy research and development office to $502 million for making advanced power systems based on fossil fuels. So fossil fuels, we're all about upping that. But solar, wind, renewable energy, we gotta cut some money for that. Well, we're actually doing good. Yeah, I know you're doing good. So we got to cut money for you and give more money to unsustainable research. We have to give more money. Winkle points out renewable energy is only risky to the petrodollar. Agreed. We have to cut money. Do you guys understand how Orwellian that is? We have to cut money to solar because you guys are doing good. You guys are doing great. So we're going to give you less money. And fossil fuels, that's a dying industry, as it should be, because it's not sustainable. We got to give them more money. Oh, by the way, we really got to up defense spending. We really got that defense budget. Like I've said before, the United States is like that friend of yours or that bad roommate that you have that never has rent money or utility money, but they always have money for pot. They can buy the most expensive pot available, but when it comes to rent or utilities, they're always low. They're always short. You always got to give them a couple weeks, but they always have pot money. The United States is like that when it comes to defense. Oh, healthcare, we don't have the money for that. We gotta kick that can down the road. Education, no, our system's fine. Predatory loans are going to continue. Infrastructure, sorry, we're broke. But bomb money, we got it. Bomb money, we are always there. XL Energy in Colorado, Saki points out, went 100% renewable from coal because it was cheaper. Exactly. That's the anger that got me out of bed this morning. Trump's budget reversed tax responsibility, state 80%, Fed 20%. We need to cut green energy to make room for clean coal and oil, Ron, Rachel points out. Clean is in quotation marks. Renewable energy is risky to capitalism. And that kind of sums it up. So Trump's budget, completely backwards. hey, this is sustainable and renewable. Let's cut their money. Hey, this is our old way of doing things. That's totally unsustainable. Let's give them more money. And there will be someone in the comments that is inevitably going to say, well, we should have just voted for Hillary. Someone will inevitably say that. So I'll cordially remind you ahead of time, Hillary promoted fracking around the world and was unapologetically pro-fracking. So when it comes to the environment, our entire government has been failing for a long frickin' time. All right, guys, I'm strolling the timeline here. We're going to go over to, we got a few more things, and then, oh, this is awesome. All right, we got to go here now. Uppity Bumpkin sends this. McConnell says open DACA debate he promised will end this week. So, okay, we have an ad. All right. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, I gotta invest in an ad blocker because this ad's not stopping. McConnell says open DACA debate he promised will end this week. So did the debate start? When did the DACA debate start? I don't think it fucking started. So a debate he promised that hasn't started yet will end this week. All right, interesting. When the Senate voted Monday night to open the floor up to consider proposals to protect 700,000 DACA recipients, okay, I guess Monday night they talked about it. Democrat senators gushed that they were finally going to have the freewheeling debate they had long craved. Many on both sides assumed the contentious, complicated issue could drag out for weeks. I've been here 7 years and never seen anything like it, Senator Chris Coons, Democrat from Delaware, marveled. Who knows? Democracy may very well break out in here. Really? If we had a democracy, this would never have happened. If we had a democracy, our government would decide 90% of people favor DACA. It's going to be in the budget. That's what would happen if we had a democracy. Democracy may very well... So you're patting yourself on the back, Chris Coons? You're part of the problem, Chris Coons. And how dare you try to trick these people into making it out like you guys are doing your job and you guys are actually standing up for something. You're standing up for nothing. We'd never be in this situation if democracy was working. Oh, we just might have democracy here. We're standing up for you. Resistance. Fuck off. Fuck off. And I don't even know anything about this Chris Coons guy's politics. I'm not sure. I'm assuming he's an establishment Democrat, which means he's conservative, basically. But based on his commentary here, I hope a progressive is primarying him out. Psaki points out the only thing the Dems are good at resisting is change. Democracy is dead. The media creates false government. He sounds like a peach, Jesse points out. The excitement quickly turned to frustration. Oh, surprise, surprise. As Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell confirmed Tuesday morning that he wants the entire debate on the half-dozen-plus competing proposals put forward so far by lawmakers to be over by the end of the week. Senators have had plenty of time to prepare. There's no reason why we should not reach a bipartisan solution this week. So what does this bipartisan solution mean? What does that mean? You're either going to fund DACA or you're not. How is there a bipartisan solution? And guess what? It's going to be the latter. Or it's going to be some kind of temporary bullshit. They're going to find a way to kick this down the hill. I guarantee it. Republican leadership shouldn't try to short circuit bipartisan discussions at this point. There we go. Bipartisan. Bipartisan is code for we're going to work together to screw you. These days, that's what bipartisan is code for. This is not about the politics of compromise. This is about public opinion be damned. How can we just subtly screw people? That's what this is. That's what bipartisanship means. And what they want is they want us to pat them on the back. Hey, you guys work together. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Saki points out it's hard to reach across the aisle when you're sitting next to him. Like any leader taking credit for ship, forever voting third party points out, correcting a mistake. Republican leadership shouldn't try to short circuit bipartisan discussions. Senators haven't agreed to any time limit, but other members of the Senate's Republican leadership confirm the condensed timeline. GOP whip John Cornyn said of his Democratic colleagues, they better get it done quick because it's this week or not at all. House Democrats who have pinned their hopes on the Senate passing an immigration bill and ramping up pressure on their chamber were furious. These Republicans say they're going to be fair and open and want to get a result, but only if you do it on their terms. Gee, you know what? Maybe, just maybe, if Democrats were focused on policy nonstop instead of focused on Russia 24/7, they would be prepared for this. You see how this is political theater bullshit, right? The gist of this article is Republicans say, hey, we got to get it done by this week. Democrats are being like, hey, they're being mean to us again. We're not prepared. DACA hasn't been in the news for weeks. And it's really complicated. We either fund this or we don't. We fund it or we fucking don't. Is it complicated when they need bomb money? Is it complicated when they want to throw $160 billion to make more bombs? Is that complicated? When is that ever complicated? Marcus points out, bipartisan doesn't exist when they're on the same side. Exactly. This is theater. This is bullshit. This is just an example of good cop, bad cop. Don't fall for it. After March 5th, unless Congress can pass a bill or a federal court intervenes, more than 1,000 DACA recipients. Oh, wow. Wow, that's embarrassing. That was embarrassing. I'm going to try that again. After March 5th, unless Congress can pass a bill or a federal court intervenes, more than 1,000 DACA recipients per day will begin to lose their work permits and be at risk of deportation. I told Mitch McConnell, looking him in the eye, this is from Senator Dick Durbin, one of the really good con artists in the Democratic Party. I trust you. I think you made it clear you're going to be fair on the floor, and I've defended you to some Democrats who are skeptical. You're an idiot, Dick Durbin. You are an idiot. You know what, Dick Durbin? Call me. I have some coastal property to sell you. It's based in Ohio. It's based in your state of Illinois. I guess technically if you count. Parts of Lake Michigan look like it's coastal property. It's a very beautiful line. Kay points out I volunteered for his campaign. He's all talk. And even his talk shitty. Wow. So we'll see what happens here. I mean, they're talking about it. And we'll see if this actually gets done. It should have never even gotten to this point. And I have a feeling they're going to try to screw over at least some people. That's what I have a feeling is going to happen. All right, this is going to be our last article today. Bipartisan equals the corporate party, Edwin points out. Dreamers deserved an actual Dream Act. I agree with you. You are right on, Sake. All right, here's something. I guess we can end on a relatively high note here. Kristen Gillibrand pledges to stop accepting donations from corporate PACs. The New York senator, a national fundraising powerhouse, joins Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, and Maria Cantwell in pledging to reject corporate PAC money. Senator Kristen Gillibrand is pledging to refuse contributions from corporate PACs, a move that puts her in a small group of national Democrats and sets a new bar on the issue of campaign finance for other potential presidential candidates in 2020. Gillibrand stopped accepting corporate PAC money on January 1st, an aide said. The New York senator made the pledge in conjunction with End Citizens United, a Democratic group named after the 2010 Supreme Court decision allowing unlimited political spending by corporations and labor unions. Gillibrand, up for re-election this year, secured End Citizens United's endorsement with the pledge and became one of just 4 sitting senators to vow off corporate PACs. Sake asked, will she return all of her donations so far from corporations? Fair question. Let's see if they tell us. I'm going to say I doubt it. Just being real here, I'm going to say I doubt it. She wanted to do something to show her leadership, said Tiffany Muller, who is the executive director of End Citizens United. Other sitting senators who declined corporate PAC money include Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, and Maria Cantwell. End Citizens United officials describe Gillibrand's pledge as part of a growing response by voters and candidates to the issue of money in politics, set off in part by Donald Trump's anti-establishment message that helped him pull support from Clinton among independent, non-college educated, and unaffiliated voters. According to End Citizens United, about 70% of 70 candidates running in 2018 races, most of them challengers in House races, have declined to take corporate PAC money. The figure marks a significant uptick since 2016, when only 3 top-tier House candidates, designated red to blue candidates by the DCCC, made similar pledges. This is a national trend we're seeing. So it doesn't say if she's going to return any of the money she formerly got, so I can't speak to that. But so this is good. Whenever I hear about this, obviously it's not bad news, but this is just the start. And keep in mind, ending Citizens United, while that's a good thing and while that needs to happen, ending Citizens United just gets us back to the point where we were at, like, in the early odds. Ending Citizens United does not solve the problem of money in politics. It's an important step to at least get back to a better time with where we were at. And it's good to see, politicians taking this pledge, and it's up to us to hold them to it. But it's not like, it doesn't end money in politics. It doesn't end dirty money in politics. And I think the problem is not solved until elections are completely publicly financed with very heavy limitations on what individuals can contribute. My personal philosophy, elections should be publicly financed. And if you want to make a contribution to a candidate of your choice, $50 max per individual. $50 max. So if you want to give $50 to a candidate of your choice, and it's $50 total that you can put into politics. So if you want to, if you want to give $50 and you like certain candidates in certain races, you can divvy it up among them. That's what I think. If corporations can become people, can people self-incorporate? Interesting question. I agree we should have public financing. I think Trump took Bernie's message after Hillary stole it. Trump pretty much did repackage Bernie's message, and he sold it. And, of course, from his end, it was a lie, but people bought it. Marcus has just become Marcus Inc., everybody. Love it. Let's see here. We got some other chats over on the YouTube. Dem exit, class of 2006 for Edwin. George is class of 2016. That's pretty much my class too. It's fun to see Ron get as angry as Jimmy. Bipartisan is code for citizens get fucked, we get paid. Johnny says, I think that guitar gives Ron special debating powers. I hope so. Bipartisan equals the corporate party. There is one oligarch party made up of 2 wings called the Dems and the Repubs. Yep. They play good cop, bad cop. We need public financing of elections. Colin says, nice tattoo, Ron. Thank you, Colin. There's a video where I explain it. Public financing would also cut the campaign season from 4 years to a few months, like other countries. Yes, that's the other big important effect of that we need. No PACs, no super PACs. Amen. Yes, we need public finance. And our election season should be way shorter. Let's see. Please find the article on UT wanting to be exempt from Antiquities Act. Retweeted, better link maybe tomorrow. Yes, let's do it tomorrow. Retweet it to me tomorrow first thing, and we will do it then because we are unfortunately out of time today. But yeah, we will definitely do it first thing tomorrow unless I find it real quick. So what you're saying is natural progressive did not mean, oh wait, here we go. I found it. We'll do it real quick. We'll end with it. Turns out the natural progressive did not mean to send me the article about the ranchers. So, but they need ranchers in Utah. We all know ranchers, Utah, needed. Turned out that was a bad link. That wasn't the article that they wanted to send. So here is the article they did want to send. Is the Antiquities Act broken? Utah Congressman thinks so. Utah Rep. Bishop has proposed a sweeping reform to the act, one that opponents say would break the landmark law and presidential powers to conserve valuable lands. Representative Rob Bishop joked with reporters last year that he hoped President Barack Obama would designate Bears Ears National Monument so he could use such an act of presidential overreach to rein in the Antiquities Act, a longtime critic of the 1906 law that gives presidents unilateral power to set aside federal land. The Utah Republican got his sarcastic wish December 28th when Obama proclaimed the monument on 1.35 million acres surrounding Bears Ears Buttes in San Juan County. Now, some 10 months later, Bishop is making good on his threat with the proposal introduced in Congress that would severely curtail the ability of presidents to establish monuments while giving them the authority to diminish existing ones. Wow, how interesting. So this isn't something that gives them less power to intervene one way or the other, meaning this isn't something where it's like, hey, presidents don't get to tell us what monuments we have to diminish. They don't get to tell us that. They also don't get to tell us which ones we have to conserve. This isn't just about presidential power. This is about specifically destruction. If you want to destroy monuments and you want to destroy historic landmarks, that's fine. Presidents can still do that. But if you want to preserve them and preserve land, you can't do that anymore. Interesting. Another interesting point of government actively working against people. That's what that is. That's what this policy is. His bill would narrow the Antiquities Act scope and impose thresholds on the size of future monuments bearing designations exceeding 85,000 acres and require approval by local and state political leaders. So this authorized presidents to reduce monuments. Reduction exceeding 85,000 acres could require an analysis. Interesting. So if you want to reduce it, that's fine. Presidents can still, they have power there. But if you want to preserve something, like Obama wanted to preserve this particular thing, that we got to cut your authority there. So what are my thoughts on this natural progressive? I think it's environmentally destructive and intentionally one-sided on the side of destruction. And it's another example of government actively working against the people. We want to restrict presidential powers unless they're working against the people. Then they still have it. This is a joke. Thank you for sharing that. Sorry we got the wrong article first. We are totally out of time, you guys. We are totally out of time. Couple quick announcements. My house tour in 2018, it's still going on. It is still going on. And when is our first date? Or not our first date, but we just confirmed another date, July 14th in Richmond, Virginia. July 14th, I'll be doing a house show in Richmond, Virginia. Feel free to email me for more information on that. Also, I am starting a new show. There's a new comedy venue that opened up in Los Angeles. Yours truly is running a political night there. Our first night is March 15th. Graham Elwood is headlining that night. It's at the Sycamore Tavern upstairs at the Sycamore Tavern. It's a really cool venue. There is parking there, free parking. And yeah, the show is $10, but I'm going to have some comps. I'm going to be giving away free tickets. I will be on that show. Graham Elwood will be on that show. A lot of other great comedians in Los Angeles will be on that show. March 15th is our first one. And if it's successful, it's going to turn into a monthly thing. It'll be a fun night of political comedy. So for all you Los Angeles folks, please mark March 15th on your calendar. Also, speaking of Graham Elwood, him and I are touring some. May 9th, we're going to be at the Tempe Improv in Tempe, Arizona. May 11th, we're going to be at the Comedy Palace in San Diego, California. And we're still working out the details there, but we're confirming some other dates in the Arizona area as well. So keep your eyes peeled for that. We should have some more announcements soon. Yeah, but March 15th, mark your calendars for all you Los Angeles folks or anybody coming to Los Angeles. I am really close to my t-shirt goal. Guys, we got to about half of the articles you guys sent. I want to get to more. I want to expand this show to 2 hours, but I can't do that without your help. I want to get equipment. I want to be able to project my monitor here so you guys can see what I'm looking at on my computer. I want to invest in some better sound equipment, some better cameras, etc., etc. I need your help to do that. Patreon.com/Ron Placone. I am dangerously close to my first goal of t-shirts. I'm almost there. I'm about 10% away. If you can, it's a pay what you can model. No matter what level you pay at, you get all the same stuff. Nobody gets anything more than anybody else. You get all the same benefits, which is exclusive podcasts once a week, exclusive videos, full stand-up sets. You're going to get my album delivered to your inbox when it's done later this year. You're going to get my my book in 2019 delivered to your inbox. We will get a Team Plaque One mug, Sake. It's coming, I promise. And Howdy Howdy t-shirts are coming as well. If you can help out, please, patreon.com/Ron Placone. Help keep this show on the air, as it were. Guys, we are totally out of time. Thank you so much for being here. This has been Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. We do this every Tuesday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Tomorrow, we have Maria Estrada here. Who is Maria Estrada? She is running against Anthony Rendon. She's trying to primary out Anthony Rendon. Who's Anthony Rendon? I think you say it Rendon. Anthony Rendon is the guy that single-handedly stopped single payer in the state of California. He's an establishment Democrat that cares about his donors and not about citizens, so he stopped single payer in the state. He's not a really popular guy right now, and hopefully Maria's going to give him the boot. We're going to be talking to her tomorrow, so get your questions ready for Maria. Even if you don't live in California, this affects everybody, because if any state that passes single payer first, other states are likely going to follow suit. And there have been some attempts, there have been some misfires on it, but we can get it done, and Anthony Rendon is prohibiting that from happening. So we're going to talk to Maria about it, so get your questions ready for her tomorrow. This has been Get Your News On with Ron. Thank you guys so much. I'll send you out with a theme. Get your news on with Ron. I want to know what's going on. We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. I want to know what's going on. Let's hope they don't start World War III. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. Go through it together. We'll make it our own. Get your news on with Ron. I want to know what's going on. Getting our news on today. Yay, 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 yay. This has been Get Your News On with Ron. Thank you so much. Follow me on Twitter at Ron Placone. RonPlacone.com. Tour dates are being announced on a daily basis. And if you are so able, patreon.com/Ron Placone. Help keep this show on the air. Help me expand to 2 hours. I love you all very much. I will see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. with Maria Estrada. And I wish you all a happy Valentine's Day when that moment comes. Stay safe in this crazy world of ours. I love you. Peace.